with Michael Landsberg, brought to you by the Keg Steakhouse and Bar.
Oh, yeah. You ask for a guest, you ask enough times, you repeat it over and over again. We'll do our best to get him, and we do. The hot young star from the WWF Edge. Good Canadian kid. Now, you haven't spoken before, right? So I imagine you're coming out today and you're going to talk to us, right? Oh, don't do it to me, man. We hadn't even, I mean, I just assume you're coming on OTR, you're going to talk. Although, as you sit there and look at me, you remind me of a lot of the guests that we've had recently. Today on Off the Record Edge. Great to welcome back to the show, and he will talk, and he's a great guy. And as I said, a lot of Canadians proud of what you're doing in the WWF. I'm sucking up. You got to talk to me. Great to welcome back to the show for the third time, fitness model and now radio host, Trish Stratus. Nice to see you.
You do it all, huh?
Okie dokie. And Jocko Olston today on Off the Record, comedian. Great to see you.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How about you?
Not too bad.
Okay, today the Vikings quarterback Brad Johnson says, hey, we all love Randall, but I thought what we were trying to do was win some football games. And the press loves to rip an athlete, but what happens when they start ripping back and stick around last block? We'll play a little wrestling confirm or deny with this guy. And we got some questions for the rest of you, too. And if you're worried about that, good. But first of all, the end of the hostage taking, the ransom has been paid. It is over. Pavel Bure wins. Brian Burke said he wouldn't negotiate with the terrorists, but in the end, he ends up doing that, ships him out to Florida. So the Panthers win, the Panther fans win, Burke ends up making a deal. The guys, to me, that get shafted here, and you tell me, you agree or not, are the fans of the Vancouver Canucks.
Well, definitely. I think what happened there is the player called the shots, and no one is bigger than the sport that they play in. No one player is bigger than the sport of hockey. And Pavel Bure obviously thinks he is. The Vancouver Canucks fans lose, but Florida wins out. Mind you, I mean, Vancouver didn't get two schleps. They got two fairly solid players.
Name of the game. I wish I had pull like that, you know?
But I don't think it's a question of the athlete holding bigger than the league. I think a lot of athletes think they're bigger than the team. That's why they can hold them hostage. You know, I don't think Pavel Bure is bigger than the NHL, but he thinks, you know, I don't like it in Vancouver. I'll just stay here and wait until I'm gone.
Okay, that's fine, but not all of us enjoy our work environment.
No, I'm not saying that.
So does that mean that you're going to hold your boss hostage?
Oh, I'm not saying
and
that.
say, well, I don't like it here, so send me somewhere else. Obviously, the circumstances are different, but I don't think anyone has the right to do that. You go, you work your hardest, you stay there, and hopefully something will change in the meantime.
Well, I've always been a proponent of honor your contract. If you're not happy, then play the 2 years. How many years did he have left on his contract?
He had a couple years left.
You know, play it out, and then, hey, then you can set the table where you want. You know, I think if you start bitching and complaining, then you get that label, and then he'll go to Florida. 2 years from now, Florida will still suck. He won't like it. He says it's a fishbowl in Florida or wherever. He's going to feel the pressure wherever he goes.
Now, it's easy for us to crap on a whiny Russian hockey player. But how about if a guy is like Theo Fleury, who embodies what most of us want and think is good about hockey? If Theo Fleury leaves the Calgary Flames at the end of the year, different situation because his contract would be up. But if he leaves the Flames to go for, say, $1 million more south, will you have less respect for him because he didn't stay in Canada like a good Canadian kid should?
No, because he honored his contract.
Exactly.
He spent those years there. He worked his butt off. He bled, he sweat. He did everything it took for those Calgary Flames.
Exactly.
He led them to a Stanley Cup.
And he stuck around to see if they can get back and kept trying and trying and trying. He didn't say, like Robbie Almore did a couple of years ago after Toronto missed the playoffs, I want to go to a contender. No, he, Thurin just grinded out, and he honored his contract.
He honored his contract, but when does anyone start to honor the fans, though, in a city who honored him? Is it too much to expect to say to a guy like Theo Fleury, yeah, take a few bucks left and stay in Calgary and reward those fans who adored you for so many years?
But isn't he rewarding them now?
I think by going out and having 50-goal seasons and playing as hard as he can he's playing for those fans right now.
Or by taking his 50-goal season to another place and another team is giving another set of fans some joy, you know?
There's different ways you can do it, right? On one hand, you get a guy like Pavel Bure who says, I'm not showing up, I'm leaving, trade me, I'm out of here, goes back to Russia, works out for the Red Army team. How about a guy like Brad Johnson, who is the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, was their quarterback until he broke his leg. He injured his leg, and as a result, Randall Cunningham comes in, has an amazing season, but Randall Cunningham can't lead them to victory over what I thought was an inferior Falcons team. Brad Johnson says, and I'm quoting, if there's something available that's good for the Vikings, I hope they trade me. Now, is that cool to say, make a statement like that saying, hey, I don't want to be number 2, I want to be traded?
I can understand him being upset, but Randall Cunningham isn't all at fault. He took a team, a very good team, and he did well with it. And I don't think just Randall Cunningham can be blamed for their loss to the Falcons. It's a team game. It's
No,
not a
I don't
game.
think Brad Johnson was necessarily blaming him, but he's saying Randall Cunningham's going to be #1 quarterback next year, right?
But you stated,
Oh, you're saying
stated that Randall fell short. The Vikings fell
so you
short.
disagree?
Not just one
disagree
player
with you.
fell short.
Well,
the team
no,
fell short.
Because I think what happened in the game, if you watch it, Minnesota's a fast-paced football. They score a lot. What Atlanta did is they didn't try to get into a shootout with Minnesota. They played Falcon football, slowed it down, ran the ball, kept the defense on the field. And by the fourth quarter, you can see the defense was just sucking up wind.
They played their game. Instead of
Yeah,
the Vikings
they didn't
game.
try to do
But Brad Johnson says, I don't want to be #2. He's not putting down Randall Cunningham.
No.
Maybe I did. But he's saying, I don't want to be #2 and make a deal for me. Is that different than Pavel Bure? He's saying, I want you to do what's best for the Vikings. But what's best for the Vikings, of course, is to have 2 good quarterbacks, right?
Well, he's thinking about himself there, and I would think about myself too. I mean, I know I used to play on a rep team, and when I moved up to a varsity level,
What sport was that?
it was field hockey.
Uh-huh.
And in high school, I was one of the top players. When I moved to a varsity level, I wasn't, and I'm like, well, okay, that's it. I don't want it anymore. So I moved myself to a soccer team, which I was a top level, because you want to be a top level. You want to give your all every game you have.
Well, see, Pavel's big beef was the fact that he didn't like Vancouver. Now, Johnson's not saying he doesn't like the team. He just doesn't want to be #2.
Isn't it the same thing, though? I mean,
It's Bruce Ego,
Bure
too.
was #1 on the Canucks. There's no doubt about it.
it's just different reasons, though, to be traded. He's got a contract, Brad Johnson. You told me. Guy's got
But
a
it's
contract.
Bruce
He's got a
Ego,
contract.
too.
That's true.
So what do you say if you're the general manager?
Work your butt off and try and get #1.
And too bad.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's bruised ego, especially because quarterback is the one position where it's not like you're a pitcher. You can be the 3rd or 4th starter. Either you're the starter or you're holding the clipboard. So I agree with that. You know, play your butt off in training camp and try and win the job back.
Knock Randall out of #1.
Exactly.
All right, we'll take a break, and one of the issues we want to talk about is what's acceptable for the media to say. Can we say a guy's bad? Can we go further? For instance, Ryan Leaf, his explosion made for some good television, but it also leaves a lot of questions about how an athlete should react to criticism.
Off the Record with Michael Landsberg is brought to you by the Keg Steakhouse and Bar. For great steaks, good friends, see you tonight.
The biggest story about a year ago at this time of the show was Latrell Sprewell. Depending on what side of the fence you sat, yeah, they said the media took it a little bit too far, or you thought it was appropriate. I want to talk to you about Sprewell. It looks like he'll be traded to the New York Knicks. He'll make millions of dollars. In the end, do you see this as a major slap in the face to David Stern and the NBA, who tried to make an example of Latrell Sprewell and say, hey, you can't do anything you want and get away with it? Is this a slap in the face to the NBA?
I think it is, but you can't blame Sprewell. Blame the Knicks for picking him up.
Exactly.
Exactly. Every team
If I
wants
did what
him.
he did and someone wanted me for millions of dollars, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, lucky him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We should all be so lucky to slap our boss and get a raise, you know.
Now, I'm not saying it's right what he did. All I'm saying is blame the team that wants to pick him up or the teams that
Do
want to
you
pick him up.
blame the team that wants to pick him up?
I think the team that wants to pick him up obviously doesn't care about the league or about David Stern. They care about themselves.
They care about getting
They care
people
about
to see
winning.
the games.
Exactly, and they want to win,
Yeah.
so win at any cost. Same way the NBA is very pro stay in school, but we'll take you out of high school if you can play for us. You know, they're very hypocritical in that way.
Now the thing to see is what with Jordan retiring and after the strike, whether this will affect as well as those other issues. It could.
But if you think that the New York Knicks are different than almost any franchise in almost any sport, then I think maybe we're being a little bit naive.
No.
Everybody is
I
out there
admit
to
any
win.
team, if the Knicks don't do it, someone else will.
Exactly.
But that's what sports is all come down to now. So.
The interesting thing is that the evil man, the evil owner right now is Reinsdorf, and Jerry Krause is the evil general manager of the Chicago Bulls, because he wouldn't bend over to the players and accept all of their demands. For instance, Scottie Pippen, he held fast all those years saying, hey, you signed a contract, it's not enough money, but too damn bad. And now a lot of people are looking down their nose at him, but maybe Jerry Krause is the only guy who's standing up to any players these days.
Well, that's what it seems like. It seems like the players definitely hold the ball.
If in any sport, the NBA
Yeah.
the players run the league, totally.
I mean, that was proven this year.
Exactly. I mean, right after the strike, what Jason Williams
Lockout.
signs a
Lockout.
Sorry. Right after the lockout, Jason Williams signs an $85 million contract. Yet the whole time the owners are crying, we're poor, we can't afford this. Wham, $85 million. I mean, it's totally hypocritical.
Story from an Arizona high school. A kid writes an editorial in the high school newspaper, right? It says the football teaches kids to win by being tough, and the heroes of today on the football field could be the future spouse abusers, drunks, and hamburger flippers of tomorrow. One of the players on the football team takes exception and punches him out. If you're a member of the media, is there a limit to what you can write about people? That's where I want to begin.
I think there should be.
What's over the limit?
Well, it's different in every case, but for instance, I have some experience with this. On this show, you quoted that I made $25,000 a year. Now, that upset me a little bit because it was wrong. And because now I have people coming up to me saying, so you only make $25,000, which is fine. But I think if someone's going to quote those things, they should quote it right.
But that's more a sense of being accurate as opposed to how far you can
but
go.
it still
If I
does.
would have quoted your salary accurately, would you have had a problem with it?
No.
Okay.
No, but it does
What
delve
if I
into
called
my
you a
personal
jerk?
life.
Is that a problem?
Well, then we talk.
No, yeah, but you know, you're
Yeah,
I mean,
see that journalism is expression. It's expressing your opinions and how you feel about certain things. And that if you said he was a jerk, that's your opinion. And now if this kid wrote that he was whatever, what did he call him? Then that's his opinion.
his opinion.
That's what journalism is all about. I
But
guess.
some journalists are antagonistic and they'll go after
Yeah.
a player because they want that big story. I had a big rough up with Edge, blah, 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 because I called him out.
I think when it delves too far into someone's personal life.
Exactly.
okay, here's the question.
Okay.
And Lee Steinberg, the agent for Troy Aikman and Steve Young, has said that there have been rumors about those guys that they're gay for a long time, and it's hurt their marketability and their credibility. If you're writing for a paper and you find out conclusively that a starting quarterback from a National Football League team is gay, is it wrong to print that?
I think it should be up to the player to say, I'm gay.
Exactly.
Why does someone else need to
I think
report
you have
that?
to have your
That's
own.
not
Why, why is that such big news? Why is it such big news that someone is gay?
Yeah, but that's
Who cares?
naive. But well, you say people will buy the. You know,
people will
if
buy
you
it.
print
Yeah.
People
People have
magazine
exposés
and you
and
put on the front of the of People magazine, busted Steve Young. If you
Why
put
is he
that,
busted?
well, okay, if you say outed or whatever, you're going to sell issues. So don't tell me that.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay,
I
well,
understand
we'll
that, but
probably buy the issue.
shouldn't it be up to the player to say, okay, I'm out? Let's say he goes to that paper. You're still going to sell as many papers
Right.
if he goes to the paper and says, okay.
But he's not going to do that. I mean,
Right, that's the whole.
And nowadays, if he is gay, he will.
there's a lot of
That's
gay
what-
athletes who haven't come out of the closet. We can't assume
But
that
that's your
everyone has.
personal business, whether you're gay or this and that. It's how you live your life. It has nothing to do with how well you throw a football or shoot a puck.
Yeah, it all comes down to he's an athlete. Shouldn't it be about how well he throws the ball?
But it's just digging for the big
Yeah,
story because
exactly.
I think a lot of the journalists
come on,
want to
Edge.
be superstars.
You guys are in the entertainment business.
Yes.
And the best way to entertain in the media is not to keep it all nice and friendly. It's to
Oh,
print
no.
the stuff that people want to read.
We don't keep it nice and friendly.
No, you don't.
No, but I think when we're also entertainment, we're sports entertainment. We don't open up our personal lives.
Oh, but just wait till the next block of this show. Just kidding. When we return, the WWF, you know it's all about hardcore, but how much can you expect one guy to take? The inside scoop on hardcore when Off the Record returns.
Off the Record with Michael Landsberg is brought to you by the Gillette World Champions Contest. Vote and you could win a 1999 Plymouth Prowler.
Wrestling has never, ever been hotter on TSN, the United States, wherever. Raw is the highest-rated cable show in the United States. And nothing is more popular right now than hardcore. Hardcore, the toughest of the tough. I mean, the outcome may not be the issue here, but look what these guys will put their bodies through. That's your partner, Gangrel, right? And that's from last night's Raw. And this is just typical of what goes on. Is there any limit at this point to what we, the fans, can expect from a guy in the ring?
Well, we definitely try and jump to new boundaries, but there's only so far a person can go, and I think Mick Foley's a testament to that, his Hell in the Cell match with Undertaker. That,
No kidding. That's ridiculous.
God.
And week in, week out,
he's still
he's-
not the
he's-
same after that.
Really?
And I think that's a little bit too much of a toll to take.
But you're in the entertainment business.
Yes.
Let's take a look at Hell in the Cell, what you're talking about. Look at this. I mean,
That one's survivable at least. This one.
That's real stuff here. What you're seeing here is not him falling on a mat that's soft. There were real injuries that he received in that one.
Yeah.
And watch this. Look what he's going on to. These are tacks. I mean, keep in mind. Yes, wrestling is entertainment, but that's real pain. Those are real dislocated shoulders. That's a real toll that's taken on him.
Would they say we want you to go hardcore?
I've done hardcore wrestling before. I've gone through tables. It's all a part of it. When you get out there in front of 20,000 fans, believe me, you want to perform for them.
I understand.
But by the same token, you have to look for longevity's sake.
Yeah.
Which it's a tough coin. You know, it flips either way. But I mean, there's rumors that next week I could be in a hardcore tag match on Raw, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to go through tables, and I'm going to hit people with chairs and get hit with chairs, and that's fine.
Do you go out and do things that, sitting here, rationally thinking that you wouldn't do, but when you get 20,000 people watching, when the expectation is there, will you do stuff that you wouldn't talk about
all
doing
the
there?
time.
So the crowd does do it to you?
All the time. I did a dive once in San Jose. I was wrestling Gangrel on Raw, and I dove over the ropes, landed right on my head on the floor.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, yeah. That was my head smacking off the floor. That didn't feel too good. Sitting here right now, I wouldn't go and jump over
But adrenaline
something.
takes over. In any
Exactly.
performance you do, you get
Exactly.
that rush that you have to perform, and you just go
You
from there.
hear the roar of the
Here you
crowd.
Exactly.
You want to keep it going, keep it
Exactly.
going.
Yeah.
But I think that wrestling fans demand it. They get a taste of it. But I don't think wrestling fans are any different than any other fans. Let's face it, in hockey, the talk is clean it up, but it'll never be cleaned up. There will always be fighting in hockey because that's what the fans
The
want.
crowd
They
comes
want
up
the
for it.
blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The crowd comes up for a fight.
Exactly.
So is wrestling any different than the other sports, given
No,
what
no.
we expect?
No, I think you're giving the fans what they want, and I think as far as the athletes are concerned, I mean, it's expected, but it's, I mean, personal as far as how far they're going to go individually. Like Mick Foley, that's, I think, individual, correct?
Yeah. Yeah,
You know, I mean, you're gonna do the hardcore match. Just doing the hardcore match is itself
And
taking
the
it to
fact you
another
have to
limit
fight
for
the
you.
next week and possibly another hardcore match, I mean, you got to take a couple of weeks to recover from that.
No, we'll wrestle the next day.
Not allowed.
Really.
Yeah, there's no rest. But I mean, I think it'll always only be a small portion of what we do.
Oh, there's no doubt about
I don't
that.
think it'll all, every match won't be hardcore because then the fans get bored of it.
But ECW is all hardcore, isn't it?
Yeah, but they still have wrestling matches.
do they?
They still do. And they've cornered that little market. That's their market. That's fine. But that's not what we do. That's just one aspect of what we do.
I
We hit
think,
it.
I think there's the overall, which is like, you know, the sport, you go to see the hockey game, but it's always nice to throw in that fight or that extra hardcore match, and that's what it is.
That's
it's just
exactly
kind of
what it
keeping
is.
it.
Tell me about Mick
alive.
Foley. I'd love to have him on the show to talk, for real. Does he surprise himself even in the ring for the stuff that he does? I mean, that stuff is absolutely mind-blowing. You're talking about a guy falling 20 feet onto a table.
Yeah. Well, that was right at the beginning of the match. That match went on about 15 or 20 more minutes, and he didn't remember anything
He
after
had a
that
broken
point.
jaw, right?
His teeth were stuck out of his nose. He had a separated shoulder, 2 cracked ribs, torn muscles. I mean, he didn't remember anything from that fall on. He didn't remember the thumbtacks. He didn't remember going through the cage. That to me is a high tolerance of pain. And that's why when people say, oh, we don't respect what you do, well, try do what he does. Try and do that. No one could.
Is that why we like Mike Tyson, why we love Mike Tyson? Because he gives us what we want, which is he gives us violence. He gives us sport cut down to its cruelest nature.
Boxing's not a cruel sport, though. It is.
How can you not say it's
well,
cruel?
No, hold on a second. The idea behind it is a science and stuff like that. But I think Mike Tyson brings kind of an animal thing to it that people like to see. I think more people want to see Tyson get his butt whipped one time.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
they've seen it now.
Hold on, boxing is not a cruel sport?
I'm not saying cruel in the sense of like manipulative and evil, but I mean there is a science. If you watch a Vander Holyfield fight, you watch Roy Jones Jr. fight,
Great
these guys,
boxers.
the boxers, they bring that sort of science.
But they're trying to inflict pain
How
on the
can you say a
opposition.
sport where people actually die is not cruel?
Or where the intention is to either knock a guy out or knock him so silly that he can't continue. That's what you try to do. And the only people who don't do it are the ones that don't have a strong enough punch to knock the other guy out.
yeah.
I kind of look at it from the Muhammad Ali sort of Evander Holyfield look, where they weren't like cruel and evil. I mean, the sport itself, but you could bring a level of class to it, where I think Mike Tyson brings it right down to its barest level.
Well, I think when we were watching the fight on Saturday night, it was like you're waiting for him. If he started doing combinations and whatnot, it's kind of like you said, you watch it because you want to see that excitement. He starts doing combinations, which he didn't do anyway, but it wouldn't be the same. It'd be like, okay, same old boxing match, or that's neat, that's different. But once he gave them the one shot, then that's what you want to see.
People
Okay,
pay
there
to
it
see
is.
his rage.
They do. And what do you think? Do you think boxing is a cruel sport? Jocko says no. I say yeah. Edge and Trish, I think, are on my side. Let us know what you think. Here's some reaction that we got to yesterday's show. Off the record, I'm appalled that anyone would suggest that Mike Tyson is not back on the right track. We were saying he's really washed up in the ring. He has a little ring rust. That's to be expected after a 19-month layoff. He will become heavyweight champion again. I think I disagree with that. There's our website, our email, our fax number. Back to get some of the inside story when we return. All right, before we go, let me tell you a few things, or before we get to the inside scoop from The Edge, let me tell you about a big contest with the WWF. Of course, you know that Raw is going to be live on TSN February the 8th from the Sky Dome. And please, if you would like to be flown to Toronto, stay at the Sky Dome Hotel, get ringside seats, watch a taping of this show and Gallagher's show, send a postcard to 2 Lansing Square at that address, the secret word, feel like it's a game show, is attitude. And something that we introduced yesterday, The Loop. We always want to find out your opinion on different subjects and the opinion of our guests. So, on our website, we're calling it Inside or Outside of the Loop. We're asking these questions and others. Will Mike Tyson contend again? Who won the Pavel Bure trade? Should the NCAA pay its athletes, given they've had all the gambling scandals? That's our website, and we'll be talking to our viewers to find out what they have to say, and our guests on Thursday on the show. All right, before we go, we got stuff to talk about. Edge, I've been doing TV a long time. Never got a sniff of the cover of TV Guide. You got one coming up, don't you?
What does that tell you, Michael?
It tells me that they have very bad judgment. That's what it tells me.
I don't know. It's looking okay up
Hey,
there.
hit the gym there, Mike. You might get
I
it.
believe they
that
call that
comes up.
airbrushing. And
That comes
speaking
up.
of that, Trish Stratus, what's up with you? You're on the cover again, right? Two
I
times of
am.
Muscle Mag?
Yeah, second cover in 6 months.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Right now, I'm actually hosting a morning talk show, Tuesdays, 7 to 9 in the morning.
That's radio you're talking about, right?
Radio, yeah. It's 103.5, hits 103.5. And I'm just taking fitness questions on and off the air, and I answer them and speak about fitness.
Jocko, you got some appearances in February,
I'll
right?
be at Yuck Yucks in Windsor, and then I'll be at the Communists in Montreal, third week of February.
All right, confirm or deny, Edge, the Giant's going to join the WWF.
No clue.
Okay, the Brood will join Undertaker's ministry. Confirm or deny, Edge?
There's rumors.
Confirm or deny, Edge?
Right now, deny.
You buying that, Trish? Confirm or deny, Trish, you, after your appearance on this show, were approached by the WWF to do some work. Confirm or deny, Trish Stratus?
Deny.
Let's try that again. You got to do that way better than that. Trish Stratus, confirm or deny?
I'm going to take the fifth.
She's pleading the
Okay.
We're not playing right, are we?
Looks like you guys are going to be colleagues. And Jocko, Olston, confirm or deny? We ended up canceling you 6 times for the show, but we more than made up by putting you beside Trish Stratus.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, that's so nice. Let me hear it say deny.
Deny.
Put some fever behind that.
Guys,
Like
thanks
you're
very
in-
much for joining us on Off the Record. It was a lot of fun.
Off the Record with Michael Landsberg is brought to you by the Keg Steakhouse and Bar. For great steaks, good friends, see you tonight.
That's right.
Michael Landsberg's clothing, courtesy for you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.